The sharp sound of metal cutting through air echoed inside the Macy's restroom in New York City. A young mother, her 10-month-old baby on the changing table, screamed as a stranger lunged at her. The attacker's knife found its mark, stabbing the woman in her back and slashing her arm. Panic filled the small space as blood began to stain her clothes. Her baby, just inches away, toppled off the changing table, landing on the floor but fortunately unharmed. Store security and passers-by rushed in, restraining the attacker, while the mother tried desperately to grab her child. It was a scene of chaos, fear, and confusion. Shoppers outside the restroom could hear the shouting, but no one could have predicted what had just unfolded inside the normally crowded store. The air was thick with terror and disbelief. How could something like this happen in a place people trusted? Amid the shouting, the mother's partner arrived, frantic, and joined in holding the woman who had caused the attack until the police came. Moments felt like hours as emergency responders finally entered the restroom. The mother, bleeding and shaking, was carefully lifted onto a stretcher and rushed to Bellevue Hospital, where doctors would treat multiple stab wounds. The baby, wrapped in a jacket and crying from shock, was quickly checked and thankfully unharmed. Witnesses described the attacker as calm and determined before the stabbing, making the attack even more chilling. No words could explain why someone would pick this moment, this mother, this baby, for such violence. The suspect, later identified as 43-year-old Kerri Aherne from Massachusetts, had purchased a knife earlier in the day inside Macy's, according to prosecutors. She had just been released from a psychiatric facility, a detail that would later become central in court proceedings. The authorities were shocked by the suddenness of the attack and the brazenness of it in a public store. As the police led Aherne away, shoppers whispered about what had just happened, some crying, some frozen in disbelief. The story of this unprovoked attack would spread quickly across the city, leaving many to wonder about safety in public spaces. Even as the mother was treated and the baby held close, questions swirled. Why did this woman attack a mother changing her child? Could something have prevented this? Was it mental illness, malice, or something else entirely? While law enforcement worked to gather evidence, security footage revealed parts of the horrifying scene, adding to the growing tension in the case. Every new detail seemed stranger and more unsettling than the last. The mother's pain, the baby's near fall, and the boldness of the crime created a sense of dread across the city. But what happened next in the courtroom would shock people even more. As prosecutors prepared to reveal their case, they promised details that no one could have predicted. The public would soon learn why the attack occurred and how close it came to turning even more tragic. The courtroom was tense. Kerri Aherne sat quietly, her hands folded in her lap as the judge read the charges against her. Attempted murder, assault, endangering the welfare of a child, these were not just words on a paper. They were the story of a terrifying event that had shaken a city. The mother, now recovering in the hospital, sat behind a screen, holding her baby close, trying to black out the memory of the attack. Every detail replayed in her mind: the knife, the sudden pain, the fall of her child. It was a moment that no mother should ever experience. Prosecutors outlined the events of that December day, describing how Aherne had walked through Macy's seemingly calm before entering the restroom on the 7th floor. Security cameras captured her movements, and witnesses would testify to her sudden, unprovoked aggression. The mother had been quietly changing her baby when the first stab came. Blood had splattered, screams had echoed, and chaos had erupted. The court listened in disbelief as prosecutors explained how store staff and bystanders had jumped into action to restrain the suspect until police arrived. It was a story of terror, but also of quick thinking and courage. Outside the courtroom, the city buzzed with questions. How could someone attack a mother in a public place with a baby nearby? What drove Aherne to commit such a violent act? Authorities dug into her past, revealing that she had a history of mental illness and had just been released from a psychiatric facility hours before the attack. She had been struggling, but no one could have predicted that she would walk into a crowded store and harm an innocent family. Experts in mental health would later testify about the dangers of untreated conditions and the challenges law enforcement faces when incidents like this occur. As the case unfolded, details about the suspect's life emerged. Friends and family described her as someone who had struggled with emotional instability and previous encounters with the law. Some were shocked by the attack, while others wondered if warning signs had been missed. The courtroom became a stage for a deeper story, the intersection of mental health, public safety, and accountability. Lawyers debated whether Aherne was fit to stand trial, and the judge ordered a mental health evaluation to determine her competency. Every day that passed without answers added tension, not only in the courtroom, but across the city, as people wondered if justice would be swift and fair. Meanwhile, the mother and her partner faced their own recovery, both physically and emotionally. The trauma of that day lingered, from the sound of the knife to the sight of their baby falling. Counseling, hospital visits, and sleepless nights became part of their lives. Yet, even amid fear and recovery, there was gratitude. Gratitude that their child had survived and that strangers had intervened at the right moment. Their story, like the legal case, was far from over. But just as the courtroom drama continued, prosecutors revealed a new and shocking piece of evidence. Security footage captured a brief moment before the attack that suggested Aherne had been watching the mother and baby. The revelation sent a chill through everyone present. This was not a random moment. It had been planned, even if only briefly. The courtroom gasped and whispers spread. How far had her intentions gone? How close had the situation come to an even greater tragedy? The answers were yet to come, and the tension only grew heavier as the trial moved forward. The courtroom was packed as the trial moved into its most critical moments. Prosecutors presented the full picture of that December day inside Macy's Herald Square. They showed images from security cameras, statements from witnesses, and medical reports detailing the mother's injuries. The evidence was clear. The attack had been sudden, violent, and unprovoked. Every detail painted a chilling story of danger in what should have been a safe public space. The mother's partner recounted the moment he saw the attacker lunging at his family, and his voice shook with emotion. The jury listened in silence, realizing how quickly an ordinary shopping trip had turned into a life-threatening nightmare. During the proceedings, the defense highlighted Ahherne's mental health struggles. Her lawyers argued that she had recently been released from a psychiatric facility and was in crisis at the time of the attack. Psychiatrists were called to testify about her condition, explaining how untreated mental illness can lead to unpredictable and dangerous behavior. The courtroom debate became a battle between understanding the impact of mental health and seeking justice for the innocent victims. Everyone present could feel the tension, knowing that the final decision would affect not only Ahherne's fate, but also the sense of safety for the public. Meanwhile, the mother and her baby continued recovering. The physical wounds were treated, but the emotional scars lingered. She described the fear she felt as the knife came toward her, and the instant her baby fell from the changing table. Friends and family surrounded them, offering support and comfort, while mental health professionals helped them process the trauma. Even as they rebuilt their lives, the memory of the attack stayed vivid, a constant reminder of how quickly normal life can be disrupted. As the trial progressed, new revelations came to light. Investigators discovered that Aherne had walked the store before the attack, watching people and testing her surroundings. The evidence suggested that this was not a completely random incident. Something in her mind had fixated on this particular moment. Prosecutors emphasized that while mental health challenges were significant, the danger she posed could not be ignored.
The court faced the difficult task of balancing compassion with public safety. Finally, after days of testimony and tense deliberation, the judge delivered updates on court proceedings, including Ahern's mandatory mental health evaluation and continued detention. The story of the Macy stabbing became a cautionary tale, highlighting the risks of untreated mental illness and the bravery of those who intervene in moments of crisis. The mother's survival and the baby's safety stood as a testament to courage and quick action. Yet the public remained shaken, asking themselves how such a tragedy could happen in a familiar, everyday place. The city slowly returned to its usual rhythm, but the memory of that day lingered. Macy's updated its security measures, emergency protocols were reviewed, and people became more aware of their surroundings. For the family, every trip outside carried a reminder of the attack. But through the fear, they also carried gratitude for the strangers who helped, for the emergency responders, and for the resilience that allowed them to survive. The case remained a stark warning. Life can change in an instant, but human courage and quick action can prevent tragedy from becoming even worse. As the courtroom doors closed and the trial continued, one question lingered in everyone's minds. What could have prevented this attack, and how many lives would it save if lessons were truly learned from that terrifying day in Macy's restroom? The story was far from over, and the answers would continue to unfold.